and we are recording for Roll for Mastery. And Julie, you've decided we're going to talk about character creation, 5th edition versus 1st edition.
Yeah.
And I know this much about character creation in 5th edition because I've created one character a year and a half ago, whatever it was, and that was the extent of it. But I will imagine that. So you are the expert, as far as I'm concerned, for this conversation. Um, but I would imagine that there are multiple methods that can be chosen for character creation, just like there is in first edition.
Oh yeah.
So let's start there, I suppose. What are my options for character creation in
Are we
terms
gonna
of
start with
methods?
5e?
Yeah, let's do 5e.
Okay. So for 5e, I like you can do one of I guess I'm gonna say three, but there's probably more than three. You can use a online source like D&D Beyond to roll up a character step by step. It's about a 5-step process, 6-step process. No, it's five steps, and it walks you through it and it lets you pick stuff or not pick stuff. The only problem I have with D&D Beyond is that it has, especially for legacy options, legacy being 2014 instead of 2024, is that they still slap 2024 crap into my 2014 perfection. And I hate it. I hate it so much. So I never recommend to people to just click through D&D Beyond because it's not very good. But I assume that there are other websites that do something similar to D&D Beyond where character creation is done. I played the lighting, where character creation is done online in a step-by-step process, and you don't have to know what to do. The other way is that you could do it even easier. The even easier option is you could find a resource like freecharacter.com, which does a random character generator. Let's say you're trying to do a one shot and none of your players know how to play D&D. Instead of taking a session 0 to figure out how to make a character, because some of these people are like, I'm playing D&D for one time ever in my life. I'll try it out. So you don't want them to commit to a session 0 where they have to build their own character. They don't know what they're doing. They don't know what background is. They don't know where their character's from. They don't have any reason to role play. They just want to play. Give me a sheet. Give me a character. I'll go kill a monster or something. Whatever. And you're like, okay, dude, here's a random character. To find a random character generator where you can add all of that stuff in, and even customize it if you want, is also an option I really like. The last and final option is to do it by hand. You grab a character sheet, you grab the player's handbook, and you go through it step by step.
All right, so if you're doing that, like
I like
you're
the
actually
I
doing it
like it in paper. Yeah.
yourself, right? What do we do? Do we just choose numbers? Do we roll dice? How do we actually do that?
So in the player's handbook, it's given to you in kind of a step by step ish. So step by step character creation is done. You pick your race first, and then you go through all of the race adjustments and modifiers and thing like that, and then you go into class. And then after you do class, you do your background, and then after you do your background, you do equipment.
All right,
Um,
so
but
race, class, and background. That's what you're saying,
yes,
correct?
yes. Race being how you were born, class being your job, background being your what your life was before your job, and then
Okay.
starting equipment.
So I'm looking at the 5e Player's Handbook 2014.
Yep.
Step by step characters,
Chapter.
chapter 1,
Yep. Yep.
page 11 maybe?
Yep. So this gives an example of how to build a character in this chapter. It gives an example of like to follow along with it. Um, but so like in the context, it's Brunor. Bob is sitting down to create his character. He decides that a gruff mountain dwarf fits the character he wants to play. He notes all the racial traits of dwarves on his character sheet, including his speed of 25 feet and the languages he knows. Choosing the race is the first one that he does. Um, and it goes through all that fun stuff. And then it also does some classes have sub races, like a drow. A drow is a sub race of elf. A hill dwarf versus a mountain dwarf. Um, things like that. Um, they have like special proficiencies with specific weapons and tools, proficiencies with certain skills, so on and so forth. Num 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 num. Ability scores. It can adjust your ability scores. Ability scores being strength, dex, constitution, wisdom, intelligence, charisma. Um, you go ahead and do all of your race stuff. Next is class. You choose your class. Um, and then I guess you then choose your level. Most people just start at level 1, right? A first level character is inexperienced in the adventuring world, although he or she might have been a soldier or a pirate and have done things that are dangerous before. They're still a first level adventuring character. Um, it says, yeah, that's what I just said. For more complex things like one shots where your DM says, bring a fourth level character, you can. You can go ahead and start your character creation at fourth level. In each of the class chapters, it says at first level, at fourth level, at 10th level. It tells you the stuff that you get. In fifth edition, right. Special things to your specific class. In fifth edition, every fourth level, 4, 8, 12, 16. I don't think you're ever going to 20. You get either a feat or an ability score increase. Ability scores, again, are strength, dex, charisma, wisdom, intelligence, all that fun jazz. A feat is a special little ability that you have gained being an adventurer way. Things like sharpshooter or tavern brawler. Sharpshooter being that you can like shoot farther distances away. Tavern brawler being that you now have proficiency in improvised weapons. Improvised weapons being just random bullshit you pick up and throw at somebody. Um, where you can choose stuff like that to then even more so specify a character. Or you could just take an ability score. You say, "Hey, my ability score sucks. My intelligence has been 8 this entire time." An 8 is going to give you -2. It makes you're dumb. Um, so you're like, "Okay, I'm going to take an ability score increase and I'm going to increase my intelligence because I don't want to be an 8 intelligence anymore." Ability scores, I'm pretty sure, are like 2s, and 10 being common at 0. So an 11 is also common. 12 is a +1. 13 is a +1. 14 is a +2. No, it's 9, 10, and 11 are average. Yeah, it's the middle. 10 being the true middle. So, like, a commoner, some little pleb on the side of the road, all of his stats are going to be between 9 and 11. He is average Joe. Um, and then you just follow it from there. Yeah. That maybe not every other person has. Yeah. Yeah, and you can't every 4th level. You can either do that or a feat. You can't do both. So either you focus on honing one of your ability schools, or you get some weird shit that you learned along the way. So ability scores are done by one of three ways. The player's handbook allows you to choose your ability score one of three ways. You can either roll for it, you can either do a point buy system, or you can do a standard array. I like standard array, but point. Some people do point buy. Uh, my family really likes to chance the fucking dice. They're little gamblers, I guess. Um, for rolling your stats, you take 4d6. You roll the 4d6. Whatever the lowest number is, you take it out of the equation, and then you add the other three. You can then put all of those numbers on a sheet of paper and put them into what ability you want. That way, you're not completely staffed on because each class has different pros and cons to ability scores. A rogue, one you want to have high dexterity to be a rogue, because with a rogue you can do things like sleight of hand and lock picking and things like that that all require dexterity. Your hands have to be dexterous. Um, yes, you can. If you want to play that, if you want to play a bad rogue, you can if you want to. Probably because rogues gain what's called proficiency in dexterity. So, proficiency is how good you are at it, and every class and race have different proficiency bonuses to different ability scores, um, as well as saving throws. But saving throws are just for like spell and combat reasons, role play reasons. Uh, so, like a rogue is proficient in, I think it's sleight of hand and in stealth, which are the sub proficiencies, the long list of bullshit next to the ability scores. They gain an additional proficiency. So a barbarian wouldn't be proficient in sleight of hand and uh, uh, what I said, stealth. So proficiency is by level. From level 1 to level 4, 5, it is +2. After that, it goes +2 for proficiency goes to level, I don't know, 7, 9, something like that. There's a chart. There's a chart somewhere, and it'll tell you what the proficiency is for what level you're. So for a rogue who has proficiency in stealth, they get their dexterity modifier plus their proficiency bonus. So for a fighter or a barbarian, whatever you said, who has the same proficiency, I mean, the same ability modifier in Dex as the rogue, they will not add the additional +2 because a barbarian is not proficient in stealth. So if they're doing a stealth check, or like what we had said previously, a lock picking check, the thief is proficient in using lock picks tools, which is a different proficiency. Tools is his own little block.
This doesn't sound
So
complicated at all. This sounds
I
super easy,
know,
and anyone should
I
be able to pick this
know.
up in like 5 minutes. It's super easy.
No, they don't. It's like an hour thing. It takes forever. Um, Tools is to gain proficiency in tools. It's based off of race and class. That's easy. You just fill it in. You just fill in the box. Proficiency is just by level. Ability scores are just done by whatchamacallit. On the character sheet here, here's the 5e character sheet, the 2014 character sheet. Here are That's where our proficiency bonus would go, like that. Here is where our dice numbers would go. So if I had like a 12 in strength, it would be a +1, And then saving throws are based off of your race and class as well. It'll tell you if you're proficient in saving throws. If you're not, then you just add the +1. And then anything else in this, I can even zoom in maybe a squeak little. Anything in here that has STR being strength, you would then just add that +1 across from this one. And you go down the little list and it tells you exactly. So let's say you have a 16 index. That would be a +3. Dexterity would be a +3. And then you would go down and it says Dex +3,
Okay,
and
I
so on
got
and
you.
so forth.
Yep, yep. So everything there in that skills box that is dexterity related, you just put in +3.
Right, because that is your flat dexterity modifier.
Okay.
The little bubbles
Yep.
over here will tell you proficient if you need to add that additional
Okay.
bonus.
Okay.
So if you are proficient in dexterity for saving throws, you would then add, if your DM asks you, give me a dex saving throw, you would then do 3 + 2. You would add 5 to your d20 dice roll. Same with this. So let's say, again, we're doing a rogue. So it would be +3 to their stealth check with their proficiency, which would be 5 again.
Okay. Okay. I'm with you.
Yeah. Constitution is health. So, like, if my Constitution at level 1 is 12, I would then just go over and add my Constitution to my hit point maximum, 12. Current hit points right now is 12
So
because I
hang on. So
haven't gotten
so
hit.
your constitution equals your hit points?
Yes.
Huh.
So you can either roll for that or you can do standard array. If you're building, or you can do point buy, whatever. If you're building like a tank, obviously you want your biggest number to go into your Constitution. Like a 16 or some people have rolled like 20s doing the dice roll. That's what the dice rollers want. They want to try and like min max as much as possible, and try and get those big boy numbers that starting characters don't get. I like point buy because point buy is at least more realistic. Let me see if I can't find point by the choose equipment, come together maybe.
Excuse me.
No. Hold on. Here's abilities. Um Here's the ability score modifier. Oh, here's the point buy system. Customizing ability scores. Um you get 27 points to spend on ability scores. So then you can go ahead and do a point buy system. Cost of each score is shown on the ability score cost table. A score of 14 costs 7 points. The highest ability score you can end up with before applying racial increases. You can't have a score lower than 8. So 15, nothing lower than an 8. If you want to. You don't have to do this one. And that's
This
this
is an
one here. I
awful
don't
lot
really
of
like
math.
point buy.
Holy cow.
You don't have to do point buy
No,
if you
I
don't
know,
want to.
but
This is the other one that I was talking about where 10, 8, and 9. Oh, I'm sorry. 9's a -1. 10 and 11
yeah, I
are
see.
0.
Okay.
So 9's a
Because
-1.
I've seen point buy systems used in first
I
edition
don't do point buy.
where they say you have X number of points, whatever the number is. Let's say,
This is standard.
let's say 56. I don't know what it's arbitrary. 56, and now you have 56 points to distribute among your 6 abilities, just flat out,
Mm,
and you can make them 18, 18, 3, 3, 3. Whatever it comes out to. Um,
yeah. And you
and
probably could. You could probably say, hey, here's point buy system. It's just that this is like a known. This is known. It's in the stupid book. So that's what people do. What I have highlighted right here is standard array. 15, 14, 13, 12, 10, 8. So you have a really good one at 15, you have a really bad one at 8. It makes a pretty standard even character.
Yeah, it kind of keeps it
If you do
balanced.
correct, if you do the stupid dice roll crap, you can get a character and all of their scores are 12s, you know? All of their scores are 16 or 18, you know, they have a bunch of crazy numbers. They get a 9 and then they get like a 15 and then they get a 12 and then they get a 17, you know, like I'm gonna hold on here. I'll do a Google like D6 really quick. 1, 2, 3. So you would get rid of the 2 and be left with 11. 11's not that bad. Um, but I'll try again. You would get
13.
rid of the 2 and be left with 13. But the last score I got was an 11. So I have an 11 and a 13. So now
Ooh, 9.
I have a 9. But, you know, and it's all up to chance. Another 13. So now I have two 13s and an 11 and a 9.
Now, is this point buy system you're talking about? Is that actually in the player's handbook?
Yes, it is. I'm on the right page and everything. It's on
Page
oh,
13?
yes, page 13.
Okay.
Yeah, it's on page 13. It's at the top of page 13 somewhere. Building Brunor,
Yeah, yeah,
step
yeah.
3.
I see it. Okay.
Yeah. And then this is a variant, customizing ability scores. So this is not standard. Standard is standard array. That's why it is called standard. The dice thing is, I think, from an older edition, to tell you the truth. I don't think the dice thing is in here. The rolling the dice and using whatever you want. I think it comes from a different whatchamacallit. So yeah, I think it comes from just an older system. And so people just do dice roll for it from it being from an older system, rolling up a character kind of deal. The traditional way. So there's traditional, there's standard, and then there's variant. Traditional being roll some dice, standard being standard array, and then variant being point buy. I don't like point buy. I never do it. It's complicated. I don't feel like doing it. Nobody wants to math. I'm mathing this character enough. Me and this character are mathing already. I am not doing it. Um, so then you would go to, after we would do roll up all of the ability scores and stuff like that, you would go into equipment. Um, so starting equipment is equipment provided to you by your class and background. Um, for class and background, you get what's called packs, and then you also get choices of weapons. So I will go to just a fighter, I guess. Fighter's an easy one. Fighter. Bum 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 bum. I wish I could find the a better one for whatchamacallit. But here is fighter core traits. Your hit point die is a D10 per fighter level. Well, wait a minute. I thought my hit points was my con modifier. So right under it says hit points at level 1, 10 plus con modifier. So really, for a fighter specifically, it is going to be 22. He's going to be at 22 hit points.
Oh, 10. No, 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 no. That's not. Hang
Oh,
on.
the modifier. I'm sorry.
Yeah, 10 plus
No,
the
I don't math.
modifier.
It's the modifier. Hold on. Adobe Acrobat sucks, but a 12 is going to be
Plus
a
1.
+1. Oops, that's not a plus
So I
sign.
put him at
So
11.
11. Right. Silly. and each class will say a different thing. So I'll go back up to hit point dice. So what are hit point dice? Hit point dice are used for, can this Adobe thing, GTFO, right here, hit dice. 1d10 plus the fighter level. So currently, this fighter has just 1d10. He doesn't have. I guess you could, if you wanted to, you could do. You could do that if you wanted to be a little anal about it, because you're going to gain an additional d10 per level. These hit dice are for short rests only. On a short rest, you can use however many hit dice you want to, but you won't get those hit dice back until you take a long rest. So if he was, you know, a level 4 fighter, he would have 4d10 at his disposal on a short rest.
And what would one
Um,
do with 4d10 or 4 hit dice?
on the short rest, let's say you guys just had a fight. The DM doesn't let you guys take a long. Let's say you're in the middle of a dungeon. DM says finding a place to take a long rest is going to be too hard. You guys won't be able to handle it. You're in the middle of combat, or the combat's going to be too dangerous. You guys aren't going to be able to take a full long rest uninterrupted. It's going to be a short rest. And they go, okay, let's just take a short rest. During that short rest, you would then roll as many hit dice as you want. Let's say the fighter is at level 4, he's going to have way more hit points than this. But for sake of this example, let's say he's at 2 hit points. And he's like, well, I'm really hurting. The cleric has used, a lot of their healing spells. They don't have any more to give me. The paladins used all of their lay on hands. Nobody has a health potion. What do I do? So they will go ahead and roll a hit dice. They'll roll a d10. They'll gain, luckily, 10 points of health back. At which case they will then expend their dice, and they would be at max HP. They wouldn't get the additional blow of. It
And
wouldn't go into
and
temp
this is
HP.
on a short rest to kind of hold you over to a long rest, at which
Yes,
point you're fully restored.
correct. A long
Okay.
rest being 12 hours, you gain your spell slots back, you gain all of your special little sillies back, you
Okay.
gain your health back, you gain your hit dice back, so on and so forth.
Yeah. Uh,
Um, wow, wow, wow.
I see why it's
So
difficult to
for
die.
you try and run them down as much as you can. Hit points per additional fighter level is a d10 to the con modifier, or you can take an average. So as he levels up, as this fighter levels, instead of it being a set, he can either pick a set quantity of 6 to the in addition to the con modifier, or he can risk it and roll a d10. Most people just take the average. So when he goes to level 2, he'll get a +6 to his health. To the con modifier, +6. Saving throw proficiencies, here it is for fighter. Strength and constitution, he'll be proficient in. I'll have to delete my rogue silliness. Let me get rid of my rogue shit. So he would have constitution, and what did I say? Strength. Hello? Strength. So now anything with strength or constitution's not on here. Strength only has the 1 athletics. It would then go down. So, like if it was dex, then everything that has the word dex next to it would then
Mm-hmm.
be proficient. So now it says skill proficiencies. In addition to any strength or constitution proficiencies, as a fighter, you can choose two more proficiencies that you want to. You can choose acrobatics, animal handling, athletics, history, insight, intimidation, perception, or survival. In addition to. So let's say I want, I don't know, insight and intimidation. I want to be very, you know, I want to know this guy's, gonna rank me down. I want to see if people are lying. I want to look to their uh intentions, their how they're thinking, and I want to be intimidating about it. You know, pick insight and intimidation based off of just this. They're right next to each other. So this is additional that I chose myself from the list provided. Why it gives you acrobatics? Oh, I mean not acrobatics. Athletics. Since you already have it, I don't know. But anyway, comma. So then it goes into weapon proficiency. Weapon proficiencies you just put in the box. Um, weapon proficiencies you'll get to depending on what kind of weapons you want to have. Armor training. What kind of armor can you wear? You can wear light armor, medium armor, heavy armor, and you can use shields.
So everything.
He's a fighter, so yeah,
Well,
he's
it
trained
makes
in
sense
the
to me, but
yeah, he's a fighter. Um, Other people might not get all of it. So maybe the rogue can't use heavy armor. I'm pretty sure they can't. Barbarians don't wear armor. Monks don't wear armor. They refuse to wear armor, kind of deal. And then you'll go ahead and put that in your proficiency square that's down here. So you could just, if you're doing it electronically, you could just copy paste it, whatever. So here, I'll just copy paste these here. There you go. You also put languages down here. If you know, go away, Adobe Acrobat. Stop it. Hello? Can we stop, please?
just click on something in that box. There you go.
I don't know what it's doing. Anyway, language. You put your language down there. It'll tell you what languages you get in a second. Um, Here is your starting items and anything provided to you by your background. I'll go into background in a second.
Can you zoom in on that a little bit?
Yes. Control plus. Plus, plus, plus.
There you go. Thank you.
Plus. Um, so for starting equipment, you can choose chainmail or leather armor, and then you get a longbow with 20 arrows. You can get any martial weapon and a shield, or two martial weapons. I'll click on martial weapons in a second. You can get a light crossbow and 20 bolts, or two hand axes. And then, finally, you can get a Dungeoneer's pack or an Explorer's pack. And I'll go into those two in a second. Alternatively, instead of this little paragraph of information, if you want to be an overachiever or a real min-maxer, you can have 5d4 times 10 gold pieces to buy your own equipment.
I'll take that,
I'd
please.
assume I'd assume that would have to be at discretion of the DM. Maybe the DM would want to hang out with you while you did it, just so that you're like, I have what's 5d4 max 20 times 10,
200, yeah.
200. So you're not cheating, and you're like, yeah, I have 200 gold. I started out with a health potion, which is 50 gold pieces. It talks about multi-classing. Multi-classing is not a level 1 thing, so it's not that big of a deal. If you wanted to multi-class, it's two different classes. You get the first level of the first class at level 1. You get the first level of the second class at level 2. At third level, you can pick one or the other, not both. Next, At level 1, you get to pick your fighting style, making our fighter. You can choose archery, blind fighting, defense, dueling, great weapon fighting, interception, protection, superior technique, thrown weapon, two weapon, which is two in both hands. Dual handed is one giant weapon, the one big boy, where you have to use two hands for one weapon. Two weapon fighting
This
is
is
two little
so
boys.
granular.
Um, thrown weapon and then unarmed fighting. You're just using your fists. Um, you can choose one of
Holy
those.
shit, you do a d6 damage with your fists?
Yeah, you just get to be a monk. And then the d6. Your unarmed strike can deal bludgeoning damage equal to 1d6 plus the strength modifier on a hit. If
Okay,
you
so
aren't wielding any weapons or a shield when you make the attack roll, the d6 becomes a d8.
all right,
So if
so
you're really
so
not with
you do
fists,
you do a d8 of damage with my fist when I punch you, which is as much damage as an arrow does.
yeah. But you're a fighter, so like if you've trained your fists, you know,
Yeah, okay.
at the start of each of your turns, you can deal 1d4 bludgeoning damage to one creature grappled by you. So then you go into kind of like a grappler kind of thing, where you're sitting there like holding the guy, punching
Holy
him while you
shit.
have him in a headlock.
Isn't that also the
Um,
same? How much does a longsword do? D8?
a long sword is a d8. A short sword is...
Oh my god, so my fist does as much damage as me slashing your chest open and eviscerating your bowels.
Yeah, well, I mean, Superman versus Batman.
Holy shit. Okay. Then who the hell needs a weapon? I'm just gonna do unarmed fighting.
Well, so not every class gets unarmed fighting.
Well, right. Well, I understand, but we're talking about the fighter, right? I don't need a weapon.
Monks do this
I'm just
too.
gonna
This is a
pummel you
monk
to
thing as
death.
well. Correct, and you can do that if you want to. Go ahead, do it. Um, the next, I mean, like a longbow, he got the option for a longbow. A longbow, d8.
That's what I'm
You
saying.
know,
So
yeah.
his fist does as much damage as an arrow does.
Peyton's a paladin, and for paladins, they can choose a great sword, and a great sword is two-handed
Mm-hmm.
weapon.
Two-handed
It
sword. Yeah.
does 2d6 at level 1. Anyway, comma. You also at level 1 gain second wind. Second wind, you have a limited well of stamina that you can draw on to protect yourself from harm. On your turn, you can use a bonus action to gain hit points equal to 1d10 plus your fire level.
Holy shit.
Once you use this feature, you must finish a short or long rest before you can use it again.
No wonder why no one dies.
Yeah, that's why I make my combat harder.
D, D
That's why I throw
so
so many fucking monsters at.
so you got a D10 hit point restoration right there, and that's not temporary, is it?
No.
Okay, so that's a D10 hit point restoration, and then I have X number of hit dice, in essence, X number of D10s for more hit point restoration until I can
The
take
hit
a long
dice
rest.
is for a short rest,
Yeah,
yeah. Yeah. Paladins have lay on hands, clerics have
right.
spells, so on and so forth.
Holy cow.
And then it goes on to go at level 2, at level 3, at level 4, at level 4, at level 5, and so on and so forth, level 7, level 8, level 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. At 20th level, you can attack 4 times whenever you take an attack action turn. Is the way of the fighter. So if you wanted, like what you said previously, wait, you said I can build a character at a different level? Here's how you do it. So I'm going to go do a one shot. I have to build a character at level 5. I want to do a fighter because they're easy. Whatever. So then at level 5, that's it. You've gone past level 4, which means you get a feater and ability score upgrade. You then do the hit dice thing, which is plus your... Well, all the level 1 shit. You get all the level 1 shit. But you also then get the D10 per fighter level for your hit points. So if I'm doing level 4, it's a D10. It's 4d10. And then hit points per additional fighter level. You would then get the base, and then you could just add 6, add 6, add 6, add 6, add 6.
Okay, okay. So in essence, they're taking an average die roll.
Yeah, the average. Instead of you could roll an additional. You could do the regular roll up of the character sheet and then blah 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 blah, blah whatever. You could roll all your stupid d10s, or you could just plus six plus six plus. Anyway, comma. I guess we can go to equipment. I'll go to the equipment page real quick. So because we're doing a fighter, they're a little easier. Didn't need this. Can we go back? Back. La 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 la. Equipment. Go away. Here's equipment. Starting equipment. Here, if you want to do the stupid I buy the gold thing and buy my own equipment, you can. Um,
It looks like most of them are the same. Not all, but most. Most are 5d4. Oh, crappy for him.
monks
Yeah.
don't like material things. They
So
don't need
yeah,
it.
so four, I see ranging between 3d4 and 5d4. Yeah, but paladin, ranger, 5d4, fighter, 5d4, cleric, 5d4, bard, 5d4. So half of them are 5d4 times 10.
Because they exist in like cities and stuff like that. You know, they're just average dudes living in the city. You know, the barbarian, he maybe he's running around all the time. He doesn't have a whole bunch of gold. He's, all fists, no brain. The druid, he lives in the woods. He doesn't want anything. The monk, I live in a monastery. The monastery takes care of me. I don't need anything. The sorcerer is born this way and shunned by society, so he's kind of also like out in the woods doing whatever he wants. But everybody else, like warlocks and wizards, maybe theirs is a little different because they live at like a magic temple or whatever. Rogues are usually criminals, so they're on the run from the law. Maybe they don't have time to sell all their riches that they've stolen. Whatever you want to say. It then talks about like wealth and coinage and the breakdown for coinage. La 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 coins, coins. Here's your exchange rate if you really want to. It's a 10 system, the same as except for stupid Electrum, uh, where Electrum is the half. Um, Selling things at stores are usually fetch half their cost when sold in a market. Uh, Weapons and armor used by monsters are rarely good enough condition to sell. That way, you're not hoarding all of the armor from kind of Skyrim style, where you have a whole like backpack full of like guard armor that you're trying to sell. Anyway, and then it talks about magic items. Selling magic items is a little funny. You have to find someone niche, whatever. For gems and jewelry and such like that, you also have to do like a market, but they retain their full value in the market. So gems, jewelry, and art objects retain full.
Hmm. Interesting.
You can use them as currency for other transactions. I guess this is also at DM discretion. If the DM doesn't want to fuck
Well,
with that,
yeah, because I'm thinking from
then
a business
they could
perspective,
say no.
if I'm a jeweler and I buy it from you at face value of 100 gold, how am I supposed to turn around and sell it and make money?
Right. And so like this one's talking about bartering, and you can do as a DM, you can do like a barter system where they give you a check, like a charisma check or an intimidation check, and then you set maybe a really low DC, and then or like maybe a middle, like a 15. You set a 15 DC, and then they roll and they give you their check, and then based off of that, you roll like a D100 or like a D20. I would do a D20 with advantage, and then that would be the percentage they would sell it back to you. Or if they failed it, then at disadvantage, and that's the percentage they will give back to you. Whatever. Anyway, so here is our armor tables. Here is light armor. Here is oh god, medium armor, and it says for armor class. So this is how you're going to get your armor class: 11 plus the Dex modifier. Now, It will be 11 plus the dex modifier if you are not proficient in light armor. If you are proficient in light armor, you then get that proficiency bonus.
All right, so let me ask you a question. Studded leather costs 45 gold. Armor class 12 plus dex and it weighs 13 pounds. Hide, right below it, only costs 10 gold, gives me the same armor class, 12 plus dex, and it weighs less. Why would I choose studded leather over hide?
If you're not proficient in medium armor, you can't get it. You can't wear it.
Hmm.
Well, you're at a disadvantage wearing it. I think is no, yeah. I think you just can't wear it. Hold on.
All right, what was that? It said max 2. Max 2.
The dex modifier.
Okay. So if my dex modifier was plus 4, I can only take plus 2. Okay.
So I don't think you. So I lied in the beginning. You won't add your proficiency bonus. It's just if you can wear it or not. If you're proficient in a certain kind of armor, you can wear it. Yes, no. Our example character is proficient in. Oh my god! Great, I clicked the subscription button. Go away. Our example character is proficient in light,
And
medium, and
everything.
heavy armor
Right, right.
and shield. He's a fighter, so he's gonna do everything.
All right,
So
now,
his for the I did a dex of +3, so I wouldn't get the +3. I'd get +2.
all right, on the scale mail, it says disadvantage. What is that disadvantage talking about? Oh, on stealth. Okay.
Yeah, sorry, you can't see the whole table. I'm zoomed in.
That's okay. Scroll down a little bit. Okay, hang on. Yes, hang on. Stop, stop, stop. Okay, I see. 14. Chain shirt. Holy shit, 400 gold for a breastplate? Holy crap.
Yeah, it's made out of precious metal. Half plate is like half of a suit of armor. It
Alright,
also has to be like fitted to you and made special
so
for
a
you, so on and so
chainmail shirt is 50 gold and gives me an AC of 13. Scroll down a little bit for
forth.
chainmail.
Chain mail
Chainmail is
is
75 gold, 16. Okay.
you have to have a strength of 13 to wear it, even if you're proficient in heavy armor.
1,500 gold for plate.
This is full plate.
Holy cow.
That's if you want to buy it. Now, for starting equipment, for anyone who can wear plate, it's usually not plate. It's usually like half plate or a
Right, right,
breastplate.
right, right.
You don't start out with plate.
Not at 1,500 gold.
No.
Okay. Okay.
And then here's your shield. Shield grants you an additional +2. But
Uh,
if
all,
you have,
all shields are the same material and same size?
yeah, there are some like special classes, homebrew classes, where you can have like a tower shield, and then you're like a tower master, where you learn how to use your big tall shield in other combat scenarios. But that's like a home thing. Otherwise, like a buckler and like a regular shield, whatever, it just adds an additional 2 to your armor class. Um, Now, if you're a boy who uses big two-handed weapons, you can't use a shield.
Right.
If you have a great hammer that you can use one-handed, but it gives you a lower hit dice, that means you are also holding the shield. So if you want to tell me I'm going to put my shield away and use it two-handed to get a better hit dice on my swing with using both my hands, then I will tell them that make sure you jot down that your AC that your AC has changed. A more veteran player, and that's maybe a new player thing, a more veteran player will know to do that and won't cheat me out of bullshit.
Right, right.
They'll play the game how they're supposed to be playing the game. If they're cheating and I'm just sitting there not hitting them, then eventually I'm going to catch their shit and be like, okay, cool, what's your AC? Oh, you're swinging at me with a great sword? what armor are you wearing? Oh, I'm only wearing such and such armor. And I'm like, okay, well, that still shouldn't add that much to your AC. What else do you have equipped? And they'll be like, oh, I have a shield. And they'll be like, okay, so there's your shit. You know, you're not, you are supposed to be getting hit. You had a shield equipped. You can't do two-handed weapon with a shield. And then you could catch them. But catching toxic players is probably another subject. Anyway, so we've gone over your whatchamacallit. I need to go to yeah, so it talks about AC, it talks about heavy armor, stealth, and then it talks about shield. A shield is made from wood or metal and is carried in one hand. Wielding a shield increases your armor class to 2. You can benefit from only one shield at a time. Can't dual wield shields. Stupid. Yeah, it's talking about size, equipment size as a variant option. Talking to them about, well, if you find some armor either, you're gonna have to get somebody to fix it for
Mm-hmm.
you, such and
Mm-hmm.
such, whatever.
Size
And
matters.
it goes, yeah, and then it goes into like kind of a more detailed of what each one is, and it talks about all the different ones. In and out of armor, donning and doffing armor takes a certain quantity of time depending on um, what it is. For this bottom one, the shield, donning and doffing a shield, I don't do an action. I do it as a bonus action. I'll allow someone to put their shield away as a bonus action. Drop it on the ground, whatever. Something fast. And then it goes into weapons. So that was armor, weapons. We're talking about simple melee weapons. Things like daggers and hand axes and sickles and quarterstaffs and spears, little tiny things. Simple ranged weapons like crossbows, darks, short bows, slings, little easy stuff. And then it talks about martial melee weapons. Martial melee weapons are the more complicated things like glaives, great axes, great swords, halberds, like the real stuff, morning stars, pikes, things like that. Martial ranged weapons
Does the
are the big
size of
guys.
does the size when it comes to dungeon crawling, does the size of the weapon matter?
Depends on the size of the dungeon. A lot of 5e dungeons are grand and large and shit like that. If you're like in a kobold den, then yeah, I'm gonna pose disadvantage using a glaive in a
Right, right,
kobold
right.
den,
And,
you
and
know?
and a pike and a pole axe and yeah, those are big.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. If you were in a tiny dungeon, but most campaigns the dungeon's massive, so it usually never is an issue. Unless you're like in a sewer, a little tiny baby sewer, or like you're in a like a den or whatever. Martial range weapons are the big boys, heavy crossbows, hand crossbows, things like that. And then it talks about weapon proficiencies. We kind of already talked about weapon proficiencies. It's just your proficiency bonus. So it'll be what modifier you're using. If you're a fighter, I think it's you get to choose strength or dex. If you want to be a strength fighter or a dex fighter, let's say I chose strength, it would be strength plus my proficiency to make an attack.
Oh, we're back to doing math. Okay.
I know, math. No thaco here. Um, Weapons do theoretically have properties. I not a lot of them are important for me to matter, except for things like if you're a really small character using a really big gun, or not gun, like a big crossbow or a big glaive, then it's heavy and you'll have to mess with it. This is ammunition. You can use a weapon that has ammunition to make a ranged attack only if you have the ammunition to. So we already know that. Drawing ammunition from a quiver, part of the attack. At the end of the battle, you can recover half your expended ammunition by taking a minute to search the battlefield. I don't usually play it that way, um, but I usually just say, I don't really keep track of ammunition unless it's something like super important. Um, I don't. Otherwise, you're for me. It's if you have arrows or not isn't that big of a deal for me.
I find a lot of 5e tables play that way, that they don't at all concern
Infinite
themselves with
ammunition.
consumables, with food, ammunition, arrows, sling stones,
Now
flask of oil, whatever. But
for food, I I've been doing. I'm gonna do food for this campaign for Icewind Dale because otherwise, you're in the Arctic tundra. You're not gonna be able to find food, you know. So I'm using food in this campaign for Icewind Dale. But for like Strahd, the valley isn't that big, and it's the woods. You know, I think you'd be able to figure it out. It's a couple days walk to each town. There's like 4 towns in the valley, 5 towns in the valley. I don't think it would be that hard to find. So many wolves attack the party. They could just sit there and eat wolf meat. If I really wanted to make them do rationing, they're gonna figure it out. It's an overabundance at that point.
So
If
I
I'm playing like a desert campaign or a tundra campaign, then I want to impose that harsh reality upon them.
so in my games, my 1E games, we keep track of consumables, food, water to a lesser extent, and ammunition, and not buy a pair of arrows at the onset and you have infinite ammunition. But with pertaining to food, what you just said got me thinking that I need to put need to and we've talked about this in our game. Need to start talking a little bit more about encumbrance and how much shit you can carry realistically in terms of volume more so than weight.
Yeah.
Because if
And
I can
that's
carry
calculated in
2 weeks
here
of food in addition to all my other stuff, food does take up about a reasonable amount of space when you're talking a week's worth of food. So to carry 2 weeks worth of food, then yeah, I probably don't need to worry about it because I'm going to go from town to town. I'm going to be out in the woods, and I can probably find something. Yeah, we can roll a die or two for that, and whatever happens. But
too.
if you can only carry a week's worth of food and you have a 5-day travel to get from point A to point B, if things go as planned, and then you get into your dungeon crawl, then yeah, food becomes a concern.
Yeah, and maybe keeping track of it inside a dungeon. But like Straw doesn't have any. Straw has one dungeon.
So
No,
it just got me thinking. Just got me thinking.
2 dungeons, 3. If you count the house, the death house is a dungeon. But even then, the death house has a kitchen. It's full of food.
Yeah. So and I've mentioned this before in our game that I'd like to come up with some sort of system that you can carry X number of items, a week's worth of food. It would be one item, and a flask of oil is one item, and so and that would be
Mm.
kind of better managed without having to do the actual math of encumbrance. But anyway, that's a little bit of a
Um,
side note.
while you're talking, I scrolled through a lot of the other stuff. There were special properties for weapons, and then it went into like I'll go back up. I was sitting there looking. I was pre-looking. Wee. This is
I
just
did see
all
a tent was
regular
listed.
items. Yeah. So this is talking about all the special stuff again. Thrown. If a weapon has a thrown property, it means you can throw it two-handed. You can use it with 2 hands. Versatile can be used with 1 or 2 hands, and then it will adjust the property of the damage. I talked about that. A hammer with 1 hand and a shield, or
Hmm.
a hammer with 2 hands to increase the damage. Improvised weapons. Improvised weapons. A table leg. You know, it is at the DM's option. A character proficient with a weapon can use a similar object if that weapon, if it were that weapon, and use his or her proficiency. But it is up to me. If I want to make everything an improvised weapon, it makes everything a D4. If some guy's like, I pull a leg off of a table and I want to use it as a weapon. A table leg isn't going to be the same material as an actual made weapon. It's going to be made out of different wood, pine versus oak, whatever. I always make improvised weapons. You want to throw some bullshit? You want to pick up a brick and throw it at a guy? It's a D4. You want to do some silly shit? It's a D4. Take your D4. Enjoy your silly D4 moment.
All
You
right.
know.
So,
Um.
what else? What else do you want to share on character creation?
Um.
And I'm asking because we are already at a 1 hour mark.
I wanted to go through. The other thing is that I haven't even gone over. I did an easy character like a fighter. There's other stuff to do with magic users.
And
You have to go
spellcasters,
into,
yeah.
yeah, spellcasting modifiers and things like that. Spell save DCs. You have to calculate your own spell save DC. You have to calculate your own spell save modifier, which is a calculation found in the. And then the table for the class tells you how many levels of spells you get. And then you go into the back of the handbook. The back of the handbook has a full list of every single level per class that you get to pick. Um, it gives you a little list that you can pick from. At first level, you can pick these spells. Here are your cantrips. Here are your first level spells. Here are your second level spells, so on and so forth. I wanted to show you packs really quick because I went over
Oh
packs.
yeah, 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 yeah.
Um,
So maybe we need to do
Really quick, I
a
gotta find it.
part B to character creation, and we can come
Has it
back and
already been
talk
an
about,
hour?
yeah, and come back.
Oh
Yeah, we just hit
no.
the 1 hour mark. And we
It
can
means you get to do yours and we get two videos out of one, right? So
talk
here's
about the spellcasters.
so here's equipment packs. Equipment packs are you get to choose one, like I had said,
Mm-hmm.
for the fighter. It has so here is a explorer's pack, a backpack, a bedroll, a mess kit, a tinderbox, 10 torches, 10 days of rations, and a water skin. Pack also has 50 feet of hemp rope strapped to the side of it. But some of these like don't have all of that. So here's a priest's pack, a backpack, a blanket, 10 candles instead of torches, a tinder box to light the candles, an alms box. Alms being like a
Uh,
handout,
yeah, a donation box. Yeah.
right? 2 blocks of incense, a censer which is for the incense, vestments, holy garbs, and 2 days of rations and a water skin. A scholar's pack. You get a book, a bottle of ink, an ink pen, 10 sheets of paper, a little bag of sand, and a small knife. You don't get you don't get a bedroll. You don't get a backpack. You don't have any of that
For
shit.
40 gold. Wow.
Yeah, it's the ink and the paper and the book. The book, the pen, and the paper are the expensive things. And then it talks about tools like artisans' tools and forgery kits, things like that. Musical instruments. You have proficiency in some of those. You get to like pick them. You have proficiency in certain tools, so you can add those tools to your inventory if you want to at the beginning. And it goes through like how much they cost and how they pound wise. I need to find income. Hold on. Oh, it's because I didn't spell weight right. No.
What about encumbrance?
RENCE? Encumbrance?
Well, it didn't find
No,
it
that's
when
not
you
right.
had encumber. So
Yeah, that. Um, Carry capacity. Go away, ads. So here is your carrying capacity. To carry something and to drag, lift, and push something.
wait a minute. The capacity of a large sack is based upon my strength.
Strength times 30 pounds.
That's the
It's not.
capacity.
No, 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 no. It's creature size. If you are a large creature.
Oh, okay, okay.
Correct. So most humans are a large creature. Unless, like I said, you're like a gnome. If you're a gnome, then you're a small creature. If you're a fairy, then you're a tiny creature.
Okay.
If you're
So the human fight or the fighter that we you created here, presumably
Oh
he's
crap,
human.
hold on. This is Player's Handbook 2024. Hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on. Hold on. No. Hmm. It only says Player's Handbook 24. Legacy. There's 2014. Okay, here you go. This is 2014. This is the correct one. Page
Yeah, yeah.
176.
Carrying capacity strength times 15.
Yes, and that's for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And then this is so the other one was based off of size. So it does say size. Large creatures can bear more weight, whereas tiny creatures can carry less. For each size category above medium, double the creature's carrying capacity and the amount it can push, drag, or lift. For tiny creatures, have it
So,
instead.
on a sidebar, that's always been an interesting topic. That is a gnome with a strength of 15, the same as a human with a strength of 15? Like, isn't that strength kind of relative? Is it relative to the race, or is it just relative to the overall number system?
It has regular encumbrance and heavy encumbrance. So at regular encumbrance, if your weight is in excess of 5 times your strength score, you're encumbered, which means your speed drops 10 feet. If you carry weight over 10 times your strength score up to your maximum carrying capacity, you're instead heavily encumbered, which means your speed will drop by 20 feet. And you have a disadvantage on ability checks, attack rolls, and saving throws that use
Hmm.
strength, dexterity, or constitution because you're hefting it. You're hoofing it.
Disadvantage on attack rolls. Hmm.
Attack rolls that utilize strength, dex, or con.
Okay.
So if you're a spellcaster, it won't matter if you're encumbered.
Even if I'm using a staff or something?
If you're a spell user casting a spell is what I meant,
Okay.
not
I
using a
just I just want
melee.
to clarify. Okay.
Yeah. Spell attack roll.
Hmm.
Wouldn't be at disadvantage if you're encumbered. At that point, you make the magic user carry it. It's great. Shove it on the wizard. You're a wizard. 500 pounds of crap.
I like this website that you're using because
This is 5e tools.
it gives you the page number, the book, and the page number.
And I can do like the full compendium if I wanted to. If I wanted to like search a specific book, I can like all of it.
Yeah. Huh. Yeah, I'll be sure to put that in the notes. That is pretty neat.
Yeah, I like it a lot. I like 5e tools, but it's for 5e. You know,
Well, that's
player
because the
references.
internet did not exist when 1E came out.
Ooh, start generator.
Well,
Stat
technically it
generator.
existed, but
Stat generator! So here's a generator. 5e Tools has a cute little generator for you if you want to. What I talked about before, where you can go ahead and like do it yourself if you want to, or not do it yourself. Have a machine do it for you. Oh, this is the formula is to roll 4 minus
yeah, and
the
drop the
the lowest.
lowest, drop the one.
Yeah, and it'll do all 6 rolls for you
Uh,
all at once. Boink. There you go. Bam. That's pretty bad. I'm not gonna lie. This is pretty. This is bad. This isn't. This is awful. This is too good.
I'm
And then
th-
they have another one that's too
yeah,
good.
I'm thinking that's
They have
not bad
two
at
really
all.
good ones.
That's kind of pretty strong.
It's not good. It's not good.
Um, that 6 really sucks, but yeah.
Here's another one. This
Wow.
one, yeah, there's no bad score. They don't have a -1 to anything. They're all around. That one is
All right,
bad.
hang on. What if on that formula you said?
18!
What if on that formula you said 4d6 dl2? Can you
Get
change
rid of the
that?
2 lowest.
I just want to see if how much the number. Okay, now we're looking realistic.
It's dropping the 2 lowest.
Right.
Yeah. I don't. It's a lot of people who want to sit there and like min max characters, who want to sit there and then they'll like cheat on their rolls, which is why like when people are like, oh, I'm gonna roll some d6s. Sometimes you have to make sure that's okay with the DM, just in case the DM wants to see you do them. Like if you have a
100%.
player,
Yes.
if you have a player and you know that they're shitty, and you're like, okay, here we are in our little Discord chat. I'm gonna push the button, and this is what you're gonna get, you know? Or you have to show me your screen, and you have to show me all the buttons you're pushing. Or you have to show me the camera, and you have
Yep.
to roll your dice, you know?
As a 1E DM, I could not agree more with that. I am always present during character creation.
If it's standard array and you tell me it's standard array, and I look at your character sheet and it looks like this, I know you didn't use standard array.
Yeah, so I mean,
I guess
if it was a
that's the same
standard
with
if it was a standard array, that's different because I say here are your numbers, assign them how you want.
correct.
um, but yeah,
That's how I do it.
otherwise,
It's the easiest
yeah.
way. There's standard array. Boom. Done. And then here's point by. Oh, and then I guess you could do it manually if you wanted to. But here's point buy. Here's the full point buy if you wanted to. Point buy, I think, is also kind of balanced. I think the least balanced and the most fun is ooh clicky clack math rocks. It's the least balanced and the most fun.
Now, if you want to get hardcore, you just roll 3d6.
Right, you get rid of, and that's it. A
A
4!
4.
That's why you don't do that.
Yeah,
A four
that's
is like
hardcore.
-3!
And then if you want to get hardcore squared, you do 3d6 and you do them in order. You don't even get to assign them.
Oh, right. So that's the same. Even with 46 drop the lowest, if you do them in an assigned order, you have random bullshit in random places. And in order to be a wizard, you have to have the random bullshit in random places. And then it'll get fucked up, and then you'll be a bad wizard.
Yeah. A 4. Wow, that would suck.
Can you
That would
imagine? A
suck.
four's like a -3. I'll put that in my intelligence. I'll just be stupid. It's okay. I'd probably put it in wisdom. Not gonna lie. I would
Alright,
probably play like a dex character or a strength character and put it in wisdom.
alright,
Just be
Julie,
dumb.
let's wrap it up. We're over almost an hour and a quarter
Oh
on
yeah.
5e character creation.
Um,
So,
I think
wrap it
I
up.
went over
Closing words.
everything. Character creation isn't that. It sounds bad. It sounds very complicated and bad. But if once you practice it a couple times, it's not that bad.
I think
Even the
if you take
spell
your time
stuff
and go like
isn't that
step
bad.
by step by step and really just take your time with it, it's yes, it is complicated,
Chapter by
but
chapter by
it is
chapter.
definitely doable. You just got to take your time. Just got to
Right.
take your
And
time.
maybe you have a video follow along if you're brand new and you don't have any friends to help you. Maybe you have a video follow along. Maybe if you're brand new and it scares you and that's what's stopping you from playing, use a random character generator and it randomly generates you a character.
Freecharacter.com.
Freecharacter.com is my favorite. Hold on.
And we
I
are
gotta go
by
there
no
now.
means affiliated or sponsored by freecharacter.com. As a matter of fact, I never even heard of them until you mentioned it now.
Oh, it's so good. It's fast character, not free character.
Oh, fast.
Fastcharacter.com.
Okay.
Fast. So, it has 2024 up right now. Stupid. It does have a legacy option for 2014. And then it does have older ones or other
Oh, but wait
RPGs.
a minute. This is okay. Yeah, go ahead. Continue. Go ahead.
So I like to do the 2014 one. There are some ads, whatever. They do have a cute like you can go and like buy them a coffee kind of thing, but it's free. You can not even it'll even generate you a name if you want to. It'll let you pick. It'll do random player's handbook. It can do random all sources. You can look at um, anything you want. So player's handbook, and then it says where the source is, and you can go down and you can pick whatever you want. And I'm gonna just pick one at random. We'll just do a sea elf. I don't even know what sea elves are. But let's say your DM doesn't care. He lets you pick whatever you want. It doesn't matter. I'm gonna pick a paladin. I'm going to pick a regular paladin with vengeance. Here's my background. Let's say I want to be a noble. Character gender, it doesn't matter. You can even do they or other non-binary characters. I like to let the I like to let the machine decide. Yeah, sometimes fantasy names you can't tell if they're male or female, and fantasy names are just kind of like that. You can do a level. Here's a great level picker. You say, "Oh gosh, shit, I got a one shot in 10 minutes. Let me go generate a level 4 character." You can do random alignments. I usually just don't. You can even add in other stuff. You can add in customs. And you can do like custom racial lineages if you really want to do. I
All right.
don't do any of that
All right.
crap.
Hang on. Scroll back up though. Character gender. Oh, for name. Yeah. Drop down
This
that
is just
list.
the
Character
male,
gender.
female,
Character
they,
gender
other,
for name.
non-binary. This is just the top. It doesn't tell me what it is. The rest of it. This is just
Yeah.
the select one. Male, female, They other non-binary. I just pick random. Random is if it's not filled in, it'll just do it to you randomly. You can pick the format. You can make them for a mobile VTT, text only, roll 20, whatever. There are vertical layouts, there are horizontal layouts, there are character card layouts, but the character card layout is in a beta, so it might not look. I like to do grayscale. I don't. The color one's cute, whatever. I like the grayscale one because it's very no nonsense. And then you just click it, and boom, there it is. That's all you need. Just this one page. Of course, there are other pages like how to play the game, and like all of the references for fast character. But I usually just print this one page right here, including this encumbrance. That is everything. Sometimes it misses stuff. Like sometimes in carried gear it doesn't have like all the stuff, but whatever.
Where does it
All the
show?
math's
Where does it
usually right.
show? Oh, I see. Paladin 4, fourth level. Okay.
Yeah. So actually, proficiency bonus doesn't change at fourth level. From what we talked about before, I guess it changes at fifth level. It even gives me features, traits, bonds, flaws, and ideas, so that I can read this really quick and know how to role play this character. Family guards unreliable portal to the elemental place of water. I am unsociable. My ideal is that I like to prep for war. I'm a fucking crazy war prepper. I have a Romeo and Juliet complex. I don't like commoners. Love that. Great. So there's my role play too. I really like this role play because one time me and Wesley did a one shot, and our randomly generated characters made a story together. It was really good, and we were like a fight club. I was like a fight clubist, and I ran the fight club. And Wesley was a druid, and he was my cheat. He cheated for my fight club. He would turn into an animal, and it would be like animal v animal, except my animal, the house's animal would be a druid. I love 202 years old. I'm 6'1" and 185 pounds.
Hang on. What height
6'1"?
for an elf?
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
Elves are all really tall. What?
No, they're not.
Yes, they are. 2024 elves are very tall.
Well,
Tall
that's
and skinny. Lord of the Rings.
elves are not tall. Half elf gets you closer to a human size.
Let's see. Species. Elf. This is 2024 players handbook. Whatever. About 5 to 6 foot tall.
Yeah, that's tall.
Yeah.
And how tall is the one that you just made?
6'1".
Yeah. Okay, so if they're 5 to 6
It
feet,
was some weird sea elf, but let's see if sea elf is in here.
well, that's because they just
They're there.
categorizing it as saying whatever medium, and medium is 5 to 6 feet. So that means all creatures
Yeah,
who
it
are
just says
medium are
size
5 to 6
medium.
feet. No.
Well, that's not true. So, like, for, let's say I go halfling.
Halfling is going to be
Halfling, it
small.
says size small. Yeah. In the Player's Handbook 2014. Oh, oops. I fudged that. I got rid of it. Reset. Come back. Can I see? I gotta go back. Home. Home me. Thank you. Books. Player's Handbook 2014. Ah, la 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 la. Races. Go away. Uh, choose.
So
Okay,
the
let's go to
average
elf.
height for a male elf is 5 feet. I'm looking at 1E. 5 feet,
Elves range from
60
under
inches.
5 feet to over 6 feet and have slender builds. Your size is medium. But let's say I went to something else. Let's say I went to a dwarf. It kind of tells you in the book. It says dwarves stand between 4 and 5 feet tall and average about 150 pounds. Your size is medium. There is in here a
Okay,
way
okay,
that you
I see
can
where you're going with that.
like
Yep.
randomly generate. Yeah, so it says small, but I mean in the context it says even a more specific small. Halflings, I don't think can be. They can be similar sizes to gnomes, but they can't be the same size as a.
I just
Maybe
want,
the high end of a gnome
I
to
just
the
wonder
low end of a halfling.
why they've gotten taller over time.
Lord of the Rings.
Commercialization.
Tiefling. Tieflings are medium, but it says tieflings are about the same size and built as humans. So it's saying that they can range anywhere from a human's range. It's not saying that they're abnormal or abnormally
Yeah,
short.
that whole race doesn't make sense to me, but that's a whole other conversation.
Tieflings,
Yeah.
half demon.
Oh no 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 no! I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Well, that, but I said that and I stand by that. But in the moment, I was thinking of the Dragonborn. That's the one that makes
You
no
don't like
sense to me at all.
dragonborns?
Explain to me how a dragon mated with a human, a person.
Dragons in Dungeons and Dragons can turn human.
Yeah. Okay.
They can. It's draconic ancestry. So it's not necessarily
So
that
ancestry,
it
which
was
means there's
your
a bloodline.
parents. Yeah, it's a bloodline.
So there
A
had to be
dragon
some
turned into
intermingling at some point.
a dragon turned into a human
Yeah,
and
and
mated with a
when did that
human.
happen? As we start shifting here to the different editions, when the hell did a dragon gain the ability to change into a human?
You could probably look that up. That's probably a Googleable thing.
No, I'm not going to waste my time.
You
Nope.
said no, that's silly.
It
Fuck that.
is. It is.
Dun 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 dun. Where is the regular monster
Okay, all right,
manual,
so we're going to call it
please?
quits here at an hour and 22
Yeah.
minutes on 5e character creation. And we've gotten rather deep into it, but yet at the same time only scratched the surface in the sense that we haven't discussed the next level of development or complexity. That would be spellcasters. And
Spellcasters aren't that bad.
what
It's a
spells they
couple
can
more math
cast, why they can
equations.
cast them, spell levels, spell slots, and all of that. Whether it be a wizard, a sorcerer, clerics, druids, and everyone else can cast. Actually, nearly every class can cast spells. So that's another weird thing, but there's the whole aspect of spells. But anyway, we're going to call it quits. I don't think we're going to do a follow up on 5e character creation. At least not.
No, don't
At
do it.
least not.
No,
We don't have the intention of that. I think we covered
no.
enough to get a
Yeah, I did.
feel, a sense of what 5e character creation is, and then we'll do the same here for 1e, and you can make your own kind of contrast on that. So Julie and I are both familiar with 5e and 1e character creation. And I interjected a few of my 1E thoughts in there, and I'm sure she'll do the same here when we talk about 1E. She'll inject a few of her 5E thoughts. But for the moment, we're going to wrap this up and call it quits on episode number whatever it turns out to be here for Roll for Mastery on how to create a 5E character. So I'm done. Peace out.